Alright guys, welcome to Vindictus. I'm KyrandisX, the long-awaited Arisha guide videos here now. Please refer to this menu here for the video timings that you're looking for on what you need to know. And I'm going to go through this in that order. So yeah, do use it. I hope I answer everything that you need to know. If not, leave it in the comment section below. And then if they get asked a lot, it'll be placed in the description in an FAQ section there, and hopefully your questions will be answered there. If it's answered in the video, I'm obviously not going to comment on response. Sorry, but it's just there. Instead I'll just drop you a video timing because it's better presented to you with visuals, so I can actually illustrate what's going on with Arisha. Arisha is a very complicated character. She's probably one of the most complicated characters in Vindictus so far. The other older characters don't have a guide yet because I'm waiting for them to be revamped, such as Fiona and Lan, so those will come later. That's why there's no guides on them yet. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope this helps you. So today you will be learning from the Succubus Queen. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so for an introduction, I want to let you guys know that Arisha is a very hard character to learn how to play and use, effectively. So, at max level, it took me 2 weeks to get to max level. It was a lot of grinding, and then I did all that just to bring you this video so I can give you full information. I haven't played Vindictus for a couple months prior to this. So, the thing about Arisha is that she's got a mana bar right here underneath the SP bar. The way I look at this is that if my SP bar is full, then I should actually be building up my mana bar. If my mana bar is full, then I should be building up my SP bar, because Arisha has 2 attack modes, and that's what makes it very complicated, because you need to know when to switch between the two and when to use what effectively. So as an introduction, the character is actually really unorthodox and strange, because if you're familiar with the other characters have a normal attack versus a smash attack. So the smash attack is right click. I'm going by keyboard and mouse controls, so if you're any other control scheme, I can't help you, sorry, because I don't play any other control scheme. I just assume everybody's playing keyboard and mouse. If you're a controller, I can't help you because there's so many quick slot buttons up here that you need to use that a controller cannot accommodate. So you'll be at a disadvantage if you're at a controller user, unfortunately. So that's just the way the game's been designed around it. So basically, keyboard and mouse, Arisha works in left click only for slashing. But the other thing is that she's got this thing called a mana crystal, and this thing helps you generate mana very fast, which is the blue bar underneath, which I can't farm right now. You can only do it when you hit monsters and stuff, and it grows. There's a dark blue section to it, and then there's a light blue section. So she's the only character with a mana bar. She's also the only character with a quick time event, such as the Ruin Blade. If you haven't checked out the full SP combo video, I invite you to do so, because that itself is very difficult to pull off for most players that I've come across playing Arisha. Not a lot of people can actually pull off the full combo. I do it consistently because I find it easy, but I can't say the same for other people. That's just me. So don't compare yourself. It's not something to be compared. It's just something you have to practice and get used to. It's because I use it a lot. And then, so yeah, that's an introduction for her. So I want you guys to know that this is the way I built it. I don't know if it's recommended for the way you're going to build it, but I can give you the reasons. But I'm going to go over which one's first, and then I'll tell you why. So I got Mana Crystal A ranked to max first, and Diffusion Shift. You should be able to rank those early in the levels before you unlock Mana Drain, Mana Blade, and Mana Edge. And also, the thing I found out later on is Crystal Burst should be maxed as well. Mana Tracer is optional. Ether Zone, I should have kept it at rank F. Kind of regret putting AP into it. Ruin Blade, I have it at A. Mana Drain as fast as possible once it's unlocked. Mana Blade, this is only one rank. You gotta get it. It unlocks your second attack mode and your mana bar. Mana Edge rank A. For those of you who keep asking how do you dive kick, get Mana Edge at rank A, and then hold down your left click to attack and you will get your dive kick. So Counter Drain, rank A. Arcane Flurry, definitely rank A as soon as possible. Diffusion Warp, rank A as soon as possible. The rest, up to you. Critical hits and smash, up to you. You definitely want Defense Mastery. I regret not upping this earlier. Arisha seriously suffers from a lot of defense problems in terms of like just defense, the stat in general, but in terms of how much survivability she has about 9 techniques that gives her invulnerability. 9 techniques. It's insane. So that's how I did like the Bloodlord naked or whatever. Another thing you want to gain is the Stamina Mastery. Stamina Mastery is very, very, very valuable. Battle Respiration isn't as important. I had that at rank D until like level 76. Stamina Mastery, you want more capacity rather than regain, because the thing about Arisha is when you blow up your Crystal Burst or your Ether Zone, you get 100 stamina back in an instant, and the cooldown on that is 10 seconds. But you can also deplete your stamina extremely fast once you're in Mana Blade mode, because Mana Blade mode consumes about like 10 or 15 stamina per slash or something, so like after about like 5-10 hits, no, you can do about like 20 hits, so it's about like 5-7 stamina a slash, and it goes like really, really quick, and it just disappears. Okay, so the reasoning, and Focus Mastery, rank A. This will increase your mana crystal damage and whatnot. That's actually very, very useful and valuable. But the other thing is, and Spell Sword Mastery when it comes and when it goes. And the way I'm building my Arisha is actually going to be probably different from what would be optimal best. So this is just a theory. Like for me, attack speed is very valuable on Arisha, whereas everyone else on the forums and other videos I've checked out, they're like, attack speed sucks and is useless, because she attacks really fast in Mana Blade mode with Arcane Flurry, right? But I haven't really confirmed my theory yet. Most of the time I do crazy shit in games and it just works out for me, and then people are like, fuck, I want that now, and then suddenly the whole market crashes just because I've done something awkward and works. My theory is that the faster you go with Arisha, the faster everything cools down, and the faster I can walk around and gain my stamina back and just do like bursts in and out on the boss, just because of the diffusion warp and the way Mana Tracer works, which I'll be going over later on. Right now I'm just going to explain to you the skills and why I went this way. So the why is Mana Crystal. You'll be using this the most in both attack modes, regular and Mana Blade mode. This thing is the little orb that you throw out. In regular mode, you want to hit things 5 times and then pull it back. The way this thing works is that when you throw it out and it tags any enemy, it will track back on when you retrieve it, it'll home in on the enemies it hit on its way out, and it'll hit it up to 4 times if it's not on a sharp curve. So if they're standing really close to the mana crystal when you're gonna drag it back, it'll hit them possibly 4 to 5 times even sometimes, even though it says it only hits 4 times. But if they're far away, the crystal accelerates as it comes back towards you. So if you can imagine, if the crystal is coming back really fast, it'll only swipe the target and then it'll go back to you. But if it's really close, it'll slowly and trickle into the boss or target, whatever it's hitting, and it'll just like tag it like a machine gun and hit it multiple times. And then the other thing about Crystal Burst, if that mana crystal, so say this is your boss here, and here's your mana crystal, and you're over here, of course. If you drag it back, you want the crystal to blow up inside the boss. like you're planting a baby kind of thing. That's kind of disgusting and sexual, but anyways, so like that's the idea. So when you blow it up inside here, it'll do crazy amounts of damage, and sometimes it'll actually tag twice. I don't know why. It's just how the game works. My theory behind it was that, okay, when I blow it up, it's gonna like trigger one more time in the programming somewhere, and it's probably gonna register another hit, and it does sometimes. It's ridiculous. It's a crystal burst, and if it crits, it hits like over 10k in total, because the mana crystal will hit it a couple times, and then when it blows up, it'll also be inside that boss. And one final bonus is that crystal burst, if it crits within the boss, you might actually trigger their break-off point too. Like for bosses like Alteron or Ikriam, even Black Hammer, it's occurred many times. I've even gotten like the Inkel's shoulder break-off from it. It was so random. It just happened. And I think the strength of it is almost like half of a cross gun Kai's grenade, and that thing is crazy for breakoffs. For diffusion shift, you want that as much as possible, like maxed out, because it's your dodge dash. On top of that, that's one of your more basic dodges. It's not really an advanced dodge. Mana tracer, you can leave this at rank F if you'd like. It's not really required, but you do need to use it a lot later on in the game for survivability. It's one of your defense moves as well, and it's also like for mobility and positioning. Ether Zone, a lot of people at first were telling me use Ether Zone because it's way better than Crystal Burst. My argument to that is no, you'll be actually losing DPS versus other Arishas who are using Crystal Burst on bosses. Ether Zone is only great for generating mana if there's 3 or more targets sitting in that zone for the entire 5 seconds that it's out. If you're fighting guys like Keegan, Ether Zone is absolutely useless because Keegan moves around so much, teleports around in his first phase all over the place. Half the time that Ether Zone's only going to tag like maybe 1 or 2 hits, and that's very little compared to a Crystal Burst crit or a Crystal Burst just inside the boss, with that previous example I tried to show you with my hands. So Ether Zone, I really regret it. I wish it was rank F. Ruin Blade is another invincible technique if you pull off the enhanced attack. Check out the full SP combo video for that one. The full SP combo video demonstrates how to use that and also the maximum combo. The only way you can get the maximum combo is if you also have counter drain at rank A. And rank A counter drain is extremely useful. This is another defense technique as well as an offense technique. It also helps charge your mana blade really quickly. So you want to use this one as much as possible, counter drain. It hits extremely hard too, for I don't know why. And at rank A you can slash again for an additional 100 SP on top of the current cost. So counter drain is extremely useful. And one last thing, it might be a little confusing in the full SP combo video, so I'll try to simplify it here. The Ruin Blade, if you have it at rank A, you can perform a free counter drain, and if you block an attack with that free counter drain, you get 100 SP, 100 mana back, which is 1 bar. And then the thing is that if you have counter drain at rank A, past that free counter drain, it doesn't say in Ruin Blade, but past that free counter drain, you can actually perform the extended part of the counter drain skill itself, the SW at the bottom there. So that's how you can perform 3 different attacks with Ruin Blade, is that you need counter drain at rank A and Ruin Blade at rank A. This is a very advanced technique. I don't expect you to get it the first time through, so just like rewind or something and just recap and try to understand what I'm saying here. Also, check out the full SP combo video. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's a more detailed version of it. I've laid out everything that's required for it. So the next skill is Mana Drain. You want this maxed as soon as possible. This helps you gain mana once you have undrained mana really quickly. Mana Blade, there's only 1 rank in that. That's to enable the mana bar and the Mana Blade mode. Mana Edge, rank A, as I said, for your dive kick. Hold left click to perform it. Arcane Flurry, this is the main Mana Blade attack. Diffusion Warp is a Mana Blade burst. You want to use this as much as possible and max this as soon as you unlock it at level 45, because it lowers the stamina cost. Its initial cost is like 25 or something, and if you look at my rank, it's only 13 now, and it does the additional 30% damage. That's a huge difference from rank F to rank A. And Temporal Shift, you'll be using this a lot in parties or just to map clear or AoE wipe ads in a fight. This is very good. One thing about Temporal Shift is that when you use it, you want to use it at the boss's end of an attack sequence or before he starts an attack sequence. You don't want to use it midway into an attack sequence. The reasons being that if say like a boss like Keegan, for instance, is like doing his 4-hit slash and there's a sword coming here, and then an Arisha does a Temporal Shift, then he's like swinging like this, and then he'll freeze like right here. Anybody who walks into this sword here that's frozen is going to take a hit even though he's stunned. And then it's hilarious because you can see like your teammates walk into it and they all just suddenly die to a boss that's actually frozen. Yeah, so like the enemy attack will still register if he's mid attack. So make sure you try to use Temporal Shift when the boss isn't midway into an attack. Unless you're trying to troll your team, then that's all good too, but I can't get trolled because I'll be staring at it. I'll be like, is that boss safe to hug, or am I gonna take a heavy hit just from walking into him while he's frozen mid-strike? So just be wary of that. And stamina mastery, you want this as high as possible. Battle respiration isn't too important. Battle respiration, I had it at rank D all the way up to level 76 or so. Stamina mastery is actually more important than battle respiration. The things about stamina mastery is because the Mana Blade mode and Arcane Flurry drains so much stamina so fast that you won't have enough stamina left before you can use your Crystal Burst to regain the 100 stamina. So standing endurance rank 9, I wish mine was rank 3. I only have it at rank 9 right now, so I can actually get up from the floor. This is something I run across all characters. And equipment, you want to learn Focus Mastery rank A as soon as possible. That actually increases your mana crystal damage. Spell Sword Mastery whenever you need your new gear to be equipped. So, and the rest is up to you guys. So that's my recommendations for this. She doesn't have any Strength Mastery for unknown reasons. Building equipment's pretty easy. Just get as much intelligence as possible because she's a mage character. One thing though for endgame armor is that you guys might be wondering, oh, what armor am I going to go? I'm actually going to go like a Pirate and Hieromon's soft set, but the thing is I'm going pure speed, which isn't actually really recommended because you'll drain your stamina even faster, kind of like a Chainblade Vela problem. The thing I'm thinking of is different, but I can't really confirm it. It's just a theory until I actually get the gear and then put it into play and then confirm my results. So, but one thing I do know though for sure without even having the gear is that you should get a Skeleton Witch armor. Skeleton Witch grants plate armor, so tons of defense, which Arisha severely lacks. And it also gives maximum stamina, tons of it. And then the other thing is that it's an int armor, so it concludes with all three things that you actually really need with Arisha is like stamina mastery, or like just stamina capacity, defense, and intelligence. And you also want crit and high balance instead of attack speed, because Arcane Flurry hits really damn fast. Okay, there's really nothing to say about it apart from it hits really damn fast. So that's the armor and stats thing. I'm going pure attack speed though. As you can tell, I even have a greater werewolf paw here. I can't confirm if speed is great or not, but I'm going with it anyways. Everybody on the forums and every other video I've checked said speed sucks. So I don't believe them. Oh, and one skill I didn't go over is Resonance. This thing is highly situational. I wouldn't recommend ranking it early because you'll be barely using it unless you're in a party. When you use Resonance, you always want to use this when somebody locks down the boss or he's on his knees, and quickly do it as soon as he drops to his knees, because it takes about 7 to 8 seconds for it to trigger and go off. And when it occurs, it hits really hard. It'll stun the boss temporarily, make them flinch and cancel their attack, and it'll also trigger break-off points if they have any. So it's a good break-off move if you can get it off. Costs 3 bars of SP, but if you take one hit, it'll interrupt the whole thing and you just get nothing. So that's why I didn't really rank it. I barely use it. I use it when I can and when I see an opportunity. You'll see it at the end slate where I did it on Controlled Black Hammer, and that's kind of an example of when you can do it. If you just see the window of opportunity, just like quickly do it. It's better than using Temporal Shift actually, because Temporal Shift is like 4 bars and it's like a 4-minute cooldown. Resonance is 3 bars. It's a lot cheaper to do, and it's fairly quick, but it's long to pull off though. That's the only problem. So I hope this helps you guys, and I'll be going over like skill functionality next. Alright guys, so right now I'm going to teach you about the Mana Drain. Mana Drain is an interesting block. Oh, I just wasted my drain. Anyway, so what happened there was that this bar just increased. The bright blue means that's the mana that you have to use. When it's dark blue, that's the amount that you're going to drain when you use this technique. It's a block as well. If you use it early, you want to use this as late as possible before an attack lands you. So that means like you want to use it as close as you can just before the hit hits you. If you use it too early, you might still block it, which is fine if it's a 1-hit strike, for instance. But if it's a 3-hit strike or whatever, or more than one, you want to use it as late as possible just before the hit hits you, because it can block more than one attack. You'll see more of it at the end slate with the Arisha everything put together at the end of this video. And it's like, for the one that I have example in mind is the one Jerkle from Fruitful Hero. He does that weird stomping thing 6 times, and one mana drain can actually block all 6 hits. But if you do it too early, you can block maybe 3, and then the other one will hit you. So it's actually a very interesting block, because if you do it as late as possible, it will block, and any following hits past that, there's a time frame during the perfect drain where the attack will extend the block time repeatedly over and over, as long as the attack comes in really quickly. So I'm going to show you with Shamir over there at how this functions. So you can only perfect drain by blocking attacks. So you can't perfect drain just by blocking the air. You have to block an attack to get perfect drain. When you do perfect drains, you get 50% more mana. The mana increase that you gain is very, very useful, like this. So that's a perfect drain, and now I'm full bar. If you notice that bar wasn't like even like it covers more of the black area in the bar. Oh my goodness. Holy, that hurts. Like that. So like it even works with counter drain. Counter drain operates the same way in that block. So you want to do that as late as you can to the attack. Otherwise, it's I'm gonna die. All right, forget it. And then so like that's what you want to do with mana drain. So he has this stab move right here. If you do it late enough, you can block all 3. If you do it too early, you'll block 2 of them, and then the animation will end, and then you'll take the 3rd hit. So timing is important. Oh, so that's a triple block again. And then this is if I do it too early. Oh wait, no, that wasn't too early. So yeah, you can block multiple hits with that. I guess I'm just too used to doing it way late before the hit hits me, so I actually can't do it in the more screwed up way to take the hit to show you. For delayed hits though, you want to block and then do a diffusion shift quickly. If you do a drain and then a diffusion shift, the delay is a little strange. It's actually a bit longer. Oh, see, there you go. Oh my god, that was way so late, and then like I took 2 hits there. Very devastating. Ooh. And then like mana drain. Oh, how did that miss? And then the same thing with Ruin Blade too. Ruin Blade is another block. Die. Alright guys, so this part is about the mana crystal, the thing that you throw out. So when you're in regular attack mode, this thing is not level 5. When you're in mana blade mode though, this thing will always come out red, but you can't retrieve it. Because when you press the retrieve button, which is the smash key, you'll end up doing a diffusion warp instead. So you can't retrieve it. If you switch back, it'll automatically come back to you, but it'll hit as a level 1 crystal, not a level 5, because that'd be really OP. You could just always throw it out and switch and it'll always be level 5. No, it won't. It won't. I tried that. Otherwise, you could have a machine gun of just switching it over and over. Because Mana Crystal level 5 hits really hard. You can check out the damage right here. I'll show you. So you just toss it into a mob. So that hits about 200. Now if I get a 5 stack and I pull it back on the mobs that I tracked, it'll hit like 1,000 something. Yeah, so like 2.5k compared to 200. That's retarded. So when you throw it out in regular mode, you want to hit 5 targets. When you hit 5 targets, you'll get that that red buff like up here, where my mouse was, just in the center. Alright, this thing right here, Mana Crystal Enchant level 5. It also increases the damage done by Crystal Burst and Ether Zone as well. So it is very, like, that's the best way to make mana as well. At level 5, it also creates a lot of dark blue mana on your mana bar for it to be drained later. And then when you do a perfect drain, that increases the amount that you're going to get from this dark blue part by about 50%. So what do you do with Mana Crystal? Here's some tactics with like Mana Crystal. When you throw this out, you can always diffusion warp to reposition it wherever you want and just burst. So that's great for break-offs, for instance. So you throw it at a mob or whatever, and then say the boss is like right where the C letter here is, on where my mouse is circling, and then you just like diffusion warp, and then you crystal burst it in their face. And if it crits, you'll get a break-off trigger. But another thing is that why I use crystal burst is that if you explode the crystal within the boss's body, so like say here's the boss, and then you throw the crystal, it comes here, and then the boss is right here. So the boss moves into it, and then you blow it up. They will take a lot of damage, like heavy damage is retarded. And they will, and like you might even get the break-off trigger too. The reason why it hits so hard is that when you explode it, the programming also shows that like it's a retrieval as well. So it might even hit one more time as a level 5 crystal. Or level 1 depending on which mode you're in. So when it explodes, it'll also hit again as if you retrieved it. So it'll hit like twice. One as the crystal burst, and then one as the crystal coming back. But it's not coming back, it's just actually disappearing. But if they're sitting in it, it'll hit like crazy hard. So it's even better if you can actually, in regular mode, when you retrieve it, it retrieves and then it hits the boss a few times. And then you blow it up inside it, it'll hit really damn hard, and that's where your DPS comes from for regular mode. While Mana Blade does seem like it's a crazy attack mode, where like your DPS does go way high because of Arcane Flurry and Diffusion Warp, regular mode isn't too far behind if you actually utilize the Mana Crystal to its maximum. So like, I always just toss it out right away, like toss it out and blow it up. And that's my way of using Mana Crystal. So I'll show you right here with Myos, just quickly, because this video is pretty long. So just throw it at him right there, and then Diffusion Warp, and oh my goodness. So, oh my god, I'm so slow. Oh, he's just running around. God, why are you so annoying? Okay, so you Diffusion Warp, and then like boom, right there. So you saw like 3 numbers come out there. One of them was the Reaper kill, but one of them was like 3,000, and that was actually like the crystal coming back. It's just a crit. So like this, and then boom. There's like a 3.5k and like a 7k in the background there. So it hits twice. That's pretty much 10k damage. As opposed to Ether Zone, which is what I don't like using. Ether Zone is not that good. They have to sit in it, and it's only like 1.3k for 5, and it like that ticks for 5 seconds. And now he's out of it, and I've lost some DPS because the 4th and 5th tick didn't go off on him because he moved out of it. And that's why I like Crystal Burst a lot more, because it can critical, and it has a better knockdown ratio too because of high damage burst. Alright guys, so one last thing about Mana Crystal though is that when you throw it out, sometimes you'll notice that it's homing and it tracks an enemy, and then sometimes it doesn't. The thing is that when you throw it out, whatever it hits, it will home in on that target when you retrieve it. So that's how that works, and it only works in normal mode because that's the only mode you can retrieve it. Otherwise, you gotta wait the 20 seconds in the Mana Blade mode before it tracks. So that's how Mana Crystal works. And yeah, so that's it. Like, that's all you need to know about the Mana Crystal. If you miss, quickly retrieve it, because it's hard to kite it into like a boss or a target like Iset or Keegan, because they're like humanoid size and they're really small targets. And yeah, so that's how you home in Crystal. Alright guys, so this part is about dodging. I will show you all 9 ways that Arisha can dodge. By fighting back room, you can dodge with the diffusion shift, you can dodge with mana tracer, you can block with mana drain, and you can block with counter drains. You can disappear with diffusion warp. So this is one way of dodging, it's just moving, disappearing. Mana tracer is another way, like that. Mana drain like that. Counter drain like that. And then there's Ruin Blade. You have to time Ruin Blade correctly, like this. Become invincible during the slash, and then you're vulnerable right after the explosions end. And then there's also Temporal Shift, but I just wasted all my SP on Ruin Blade, so yeah. So that's dodging. It's not too difficult. The thing you want to use most though is Mana Tracer and Diffusion Warp when you can. So I hope this helped you guys, and here's the end part of this Arisha video where everything is put together. Oh, you're on the floor. Why to your head? Oh no! Oh, too slow. I should have did it right as he went. That's what happens when you hesitate with Resonance, if you're going to use it on a down boss. You gotta use it right away. It literally lasts for their downed animation, and then once they get up, it should go off. Alright guys, so this is the end, and I hope this helped you. If not, then just watch this ending part here and put everything together, and that's pretty much how you play Arisha. One last thing though is Diffusion Warp. Diffusion Warp cools down with every hit that you make with Arcane Flurry. The base cooldown is 10 seconds, but if you hit a target, it subtracts 1 second from that cooldown. And afterwards, you can Diffusion Warp. So if there's like a mob around you and you just Arcane Flurry, it'll cool down really, really fast. So just be sure to remember that. And always Diffusion Warp when you're in Mana Blade mode, whenever you can. And then Mana Tracer back to your bottom, back to your target. So you can quickly go back in and start slashing away. Alright guys, so enjoy this ending. Bye bye for now. This. Block. That and then 2. Oh dear God.
Non-believers in this video will learn nothing about Arisha.
No, I'm just kidding. Alyssa?
Alyssa's gone. The silence is deafening. Paradise of non-believers, Dawnbringer.
So that's the Arisha guide video, guys. I hope that helped you out. If not, I can't think of other ways to help you out with Arisha. It's literally, she's very hard. It's not supposed to be easy, and it took me a long time to think of how to present this to you guys. So honestly, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was difficult, and yeah. So I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye for now.
Hello, you're the new Coffer Chaser, huh? If you need a place to stay, try the inn. No one's looking after it right now, though. Be nice if I could find some pretty little thing to manage it, but I just haven't the time.
Was that pretty girl? There's a real pretty one running the inn.
Oh, come off it, Joe. What pretty girl would you know? I think you've had enough for one day.
I have not yet begun to drink.
Poor fella. Well, you might as well join him for a drink. Here on the house, welcome to Molina. To the new kid, cheers! Oh, good times, nice and quiet. You're the only one that ever makes a ruckus, Joe, I swear. Now then, you looking for work? Because I'm sure the Coffer Chasers could use you. Pay him a visit, dearie. But don't forget to come back once in a while, alright? Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.
In my eyes at the time, from what I remember, she was quite pretty, but like I didn't think of anything of like, oh, she's like
the hottest girl or if I liked her that way either, right? I just saw her as a person.